That's Rhonda, Louie's wife, high school sweetheart. About 5 years ago, I was covering a night shift. He came in feeling talkative. Born and raised in Pittsburgh, lifelong Steelers fan, groundskeeper at Three Rivers Stadium until 1998. He never really wanted kids, but Rhonda wore him down, and when she finally got pregnant, he changed his tune, he got excited, and then about a month before the baby was due, Rhonda and the baby were killed in a car crash. Though he never really came back from that. May his memory be a blessing.
Hello, all. Welcome back to What's On Tonight, a podcast with elaborate, quirky, and unpredictable conversations about TV, movies, and more. I'm Becky.
And I'm Mandy.
And I'm Sam.
Today we are covering HBO Max's hit show, The Pitt Season 2, Episode 6, titled 12 p.m. Please note this is a spoiler-filled podcast, so if you haven't watched the episode yet and don't want to be spoiled, just come back and check us out after you finish watching. Before we move into some feedback, we want to say hello to Sam.
Hi.
You guys have heard Sam in a lot of our feedback episodes, and she was a guest with us last season, and we're super excited to have you back with us this season.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you so much, ladies. This is awesome.
It's really cool having you here. We love talking to you. You know, when we're not on the podcast, that we have a very active group chat. And so
It's the best.
she's like our third wing.
Aww.
But also, just to remind everybody, we've mentioned it before, Sam is in mental health and has worked with the Veterans Affairs. So she has some pretty unique perspective on a lot of what goes on in the show. In addition to just thinking you're funny as shit and very smart, I love that you can add that. You can add a lot of context sometimes that we miss. So we're really glad you're here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been very honored to work in different departments in the hospital, being a health psychologist. I've worked in ERs, I've worked in ICUs, I've worked in med-surg, all this stuff. So it's kind of cool seeing what actual doctors and nurses are doing every day and how that lines up with my experiences and things that I'll never know as a psychologist. So I appreciate it. And this show is so great.
I'm glad you mentioned med-surg. Why was it less expensive last week for him to be in med-surg?
That's a good question. I remember you ladies asking that. I'm just totally guessing, and you're probably going to get a lot of writing in of people saying I'm completely wrong. I apologize ahead of time. The ICU, because that was where they were going to send him otherwise, right? Was the ICU because of his diabetes and everything else. ICUs tend to be very minimal. You don't put a lot of people up there. The nurses are typically one-on-one. They do have bedside round-the-clock care. It is a lot more intensive just because of the fragility of the patients.
Gotcha.
Med-surg is just kind of like a general wing. So you just kind of go there and, rehabilitate.
Is it usually shared space?
Yes, typically shared space. That's a good point. ICU, at least the hospitals I've been in, aren't typically a shared space. I know that changed during COVID when we had COVID areas. But for the most part, my experience is ICU is a single room as well and really attentive care.
Gotcha.
Which is why they had to figure out for his medication and stuff how to do that.
Yeah, okay. I bet you're right. That sounds very logical. But if anybody else has an opinion,
please. Who knows more than me?
Before we get into episode 6, we got some feedback from the Pirate Core YouTube page on our episode 5 coverage. At Linda1541, hey girl, hey. She said, I love that you have hope that Louie might make it. Linda.
Sorry, we were so wrong.
Positive vibes for Louie. A little heart emoji. Great podcast. Well, thank you, Linda.
Yeah.
We held on to hope, girl.
Same. And that at Kano794 said, hey, I would slightly disagree with your assessment of Louie. I don't think that they were enabling him or just leaving the status quo. Louie is very clearly in the pre-contemplative stage of change. Oftentimes, trying to force people on the stage to make changes harms the therapeutic relationship more than it benefits, which is true. I think they are acknowledging where he is at, and I think you can tell with previous interactions that help has been offered and he has declined. Also, from a medical perspective, he really did need something for his alcohol withdrawal. Some centers have protocols for using alcohol for this. Most have use of other medications, depending on the patient's preference and medical history. So it's actually not inappropriate medically to prevent withdrawal.
Well, thank
Awesome.
you for answering that question, because we were curious if that's something they would actually do, and that answer makes sense. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Kano commented a lot in the first season. I think they may be a nurse.
Oh, they're wonderful. Yeah, like they're really insightful.
Kano, let us know, please.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. I'm so glad that they took their time to
Yeah.
respond, because I had started through this episode to realize, like, I offered an opinion about that last week, and I genuinely have no idea. Clearly, Louis was at the end stage of alcoholism, and I have no idea what the medical protocol is at that. So I was being judgy about Robbie's choices when I really genuinely have no clue. So I really appreciated that response.
Yeah. And they are correct that like there are some centers that do it. Kana brought up a good point. I was wondering why they didn't offer medications to help him with the withdrawal until he was discharged. I'm curious that Robbie didn't order it and like didn't put it in the chart, and it was kept sort of hush hush.
I think that was more because he saw it, it was there, he knew there was a need, and he was in the moment.
Yeah. And they are absolutely right. He is in the pre-contemplative stage of change. You're absolutely right, Kano. And it's a stage where a person's not interested or thinking about quitting. I remember you ladies saying this, that he's offered it.
We assumed.
Yeah. And that he's declined. It does harm the therapeutic relationship to try to push that. We saw that last season. There's also like this idea giving them beer is such a thin line in there. I get it. He doesn't want rehab. I wouldn't have even brought up rehab or detox with him. If he's having withdrawals like we saw, I would have been like, what can you guys prescribe him? And that he knows that that's the protocol when he comes in.
Yeah.
That's like where my line was judgy of Ravi. And it's also Robbie doing it. So
that really tracks, honestly. That didn't shock me at all.
But yeah, Kano is absolutely right about him being in the pre-contemplative stage of change and how it can harm the relationship. Yeah, it's definitely appropriate to prevent withdrawal. I think they gave him some Librium because that happened with the Whitaker stuff.
Yeah.
People don't give alcohol to your patients in the hospital unless you can put it in the chart. We don't want you losing your licenses.
And Erica Land, 1831. Hello, Erica. Who just simply wrote from charting to sharding. That's funny. And from our What's On Tonight, episode 5 feedback post, my apologies to both Ginger and Erica. I don't know how I missed this last week before we recorded, so I wanted to make sure we get it in this time. Ginger Morris says, hey, ladies, this is my first time commenting, but I never miss an episode. My sister and I look forward to breaking it down with you gals every week. She's in Texas, I'm in Ireland, and we have a weekly phone call after we watch the episode, and then we listen to your podcast and catch all the little things we missed. I love that.
Aww.
I love that. I just real quick, Ginger, I want to tell you the blessings that we've had that have come from this podcast. Nothing has meant more to me than one. This week we interviewed Charles Baker, who plays Mr. Digby, and he also played Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad. And my son has never been impressed about anything to do with my podcasting career, and he absolutely lost his mind when he found out that I interviewed Skinny Pete. Knowing that, and that we have someone who listens to us from one of my favorite countries in the world, Ireland, those are the two things I think that have meant the most to me of anything. Thank you so much for letting us know about that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And she goes on to say, so much fun. Anyway, regarding Mateo, I was worried he wouldn't be returning, so I looked it up. Apparently, there were some scheduling conflicts for the actor for the first part of the season, but they assure us he will be back for the second half. Okay. Look at Ginger giving the info. It seems Mateo is just working the night shift this time and will probably appear around episode 11 or 12. I too hope we get a strong sign that he and Javati are together. That girl cannot stop smiling. I truly believe she's getting the Mateo. Oh, yeah, and in time for her 21st birthday. Thanks for all the laughs, girls, and keep it up. Sending you all the good vibes from Ireland with a heart emoji. Ginger, that was amazing. Thank you.
You and your sister, we are so happy to have you. That makes us very, very proud.
Oh, that's awesome. Erica Land, I sure did not appreciate how Ogilvy talked to the unhoused patient when he didn't have another doctor in the room with him. Completely agree with you.
Fucking Ogilvy.
Yeah. So when he gets shat on, so when he gets shat on, it was well deserved. Karma bus coming through. Beep beep. Yes, yes. And then she goes on to say, "We cannot lose Louis."
Oh, Erica.
I know, Erica. Virtual hugs to everyone.
Erica, we're holding right now. You and I are holding hands together.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in this together, Erica. I'm so sorry. All right. Well, let's get into this week's episode. Episode 6 was written by Valerie Chu and directed by Noah Wiley. This is the first one definitely this season. And he had said that he would have taken any episode they gave him, but he was very happy to have this one specifically.
The synopsis for this episode is the ER staff mourns the unexpected death of their beloved frequent flyer patient Louis. The nursing staff is highlighted, showing their crucial, often unacknowledged role in patient care and the profound impact of loss in their daily work. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's dive in. And the way we broke down this episode, we've got 2 main points, then we'll head into chart notes. But the first main point is to break down these nurses. And it was my favorite thing about this episode. There was a lot of sadness going on, but to get to see these people front and center and see things from their point of view and what they do to be the glue that the central nervous system, I call it, that keeps this place running, was brilliant. We could start off with Dana and Emma. I just love how Dana continues to teach Emma, the doctor, like everyone. She's touching every single person she comes in contact with. And yeah, she's the charge nurse and she's supposed to, but she doesn't have to go as far as she does with these people. And then, that moment where she went off on that douchebag that grabbed Emma's arm. And I was glad for all the Pittsburgh natives out there that we finally got a jag-off in the episode.
Boy, did we ever.
And then, how she recognized after Louis' passing that this was sitting on Perla heavy, and realizing that Perla needed a break and that she and Emma would take care of Louis. So it's just, she puts all of this work into trying to keep everyone happy. And, she goes on and finds the solution for Gus, the bold move to alter his pulse ox so that he could stay in the hospital longer. How she protected Jesse by sending him out of the room before they went into that. Dana is just a chef's kiss. And I loved seeing her as a teacher and as a mama throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, I go and agree with everything you're saying, Becky. Dana is probably my favorite character on the show, or definitely like top 2. I've known Dana's. I've been fortunate enough to know Dana's, and I've been more in the Emma position. So it's this is what they do. They protect the staff. They get you used to what's going on. You get used to the rules. I used to tell all of my trainees, watch the nurses, not the doctors. All respect to doctors. But the nurses know what's going on day to day, and they are more intimately connected to the patients than I would say at least the physicians I've worked with. The physicians do care and they're with the patients, but the nurses are the ones, like we saw in this episode, cleaning bodies, doing this stuff, being really close to them and spending a lot of time. So they really are really good behavioral observationists. And pet peeve of mine, I don't think anyone listening to this podcast would ever do this. However, never put your hands on a nurse. It happens all the time. They are the frontline warriors of this. And I think because a lot of them are women, they get grabbed, they get stuff thrown at them. It is an enormous pet peeve of mine. And I used to give a presentation on how a team-based approach to prevent harassment of nurses. Like the way he grabbed Emma's arm made me furious. Like,
Yeah.
that's a crime. And he was trying to blow it off because Dana, rightfully so, called him out in a very similar way I have to patients in the past. And then he goes, well, I just wanted to get information. You know full well you wouldn't grab a police officer's arm like that. So you did it because you thought you just wanted to get hurt, to be heard, and there's ways to get your needs met in a more productive manner. That was assault, and it was rude. So that was one of my pet peeves. I'm glad they showed it because it happens every day in hospitals around the country, especially to nurses.
I think that this is probably now, I think I've said this a couple of times, this is now my favorite episode, maybe of the series, definitely of the season. And it had to do with highlighting all of the nurses, specifically Dana, but all of them really. I think we learned a lot about Dana's character.
We did.
Like, again, the thing we always stress, it's the quiet moments. It's what is not said is often as important as what is said. You just have to really pay attention to, and honestly, I say you really have to pay attention, and it's hard not to because they grab you, the good one, like they're all good. But Catherine Lanasa specifically is just such a phenomenal actress. Her body language, she uses her full instrument to really make Dana such a fleshed out character. First of all, I think we see a lot of Dana's trauma in this, and untreated trauma.
And we hear about it with her talking about COVID, explaining to Emma when she's coaching her through what to do and how a lot of people got burnt out. And I loved Emma asking her what's the hardest part of this job, and Dana telling her that it's a thankless job, talking about the burnout rates and how COVID broke a lot of people mentally. But Dana doesn't answer her when Emma asks her why she's coming back. And I think that her conversation with Emma was a lot of her trying to work through her grief.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really picked up this episode was how very separate Dana keeps herself from everywhere, everyone around her in a way. And I am really resisting the temptation to go off on this whole diatribe about how indicative this is of men and women in general and how we approach mental health. Dana has trauma clearly as much as Robbie does. I say untreated, but I don't even know if that's the right word because it seems like Dana is better at setting boundaries between her private life and the pit. And I think that she has come to that because she knows that she needs to do that. Like that indication when she tells Langdon, when Langdon says no one came to see him in rehab, and she acknowledges that. And when she doesn't want to be there for the debriefing with Louis because she doesn't want to be that emotionally vulnerable in front of people. But I think that Dana is fully aware of her trauma in a way that Robbie is not. Yeah. And I think we got the answer to when Emma asked her, why do you keep coming back? And she didn't answer. I wondered for a moment, does Dana even know? But then by the end of the episode, what she did with the patient, the prisoner, who she was the one after everything, that battle of the wills that Dr. Al and Robbie were going throughout this whole episode about the ethics of the prisoner who is clearly malnourished. It was Dana that was the one that made that happen. And I think we got that answer. Dana knows why she keeps coming back. And it's because every once in a while in the shit and the blood and the Louis that you lose, you can make a real difference in someone's life in your community. And that's why she's there. Brilliant writing, man. That whole story arc just had me glued.
Yeah. And
so good.
Talking about how Catherine Lanasa uses all of her person to bring her character to life. I got to give this young lady, Letitia, who plays Emma, her snaps because watching her observe everything that was going on around her was brilliant. You could tell she was absorbing everything that was said to her, every reaction of the doctors and the staff working around her. It just was so beautiful and so well done. And when we get into the debrief, that moment she has, I feel like she had a lot of questions as to why did I choose this? Why am I doing this? This is her first day in emergency department, and it is utter chaos. And I think that through Dana's coaching and developing of her, her conversations with other people and just watching what these guys do to help all of these people around them. I think at that moment when she does what she does, I think she realized, okay, this is why I'm here. This is why I want to do what I want to do. And it's almost like mirroring Dana's reason for being there.
Yeah, I think she's definitely got it. When she went from asking why you would leave Louis's handout to recognizing that she was in fact going to need to be the family that Louis didn't have, and just stepping up and accepting that role, you see a lot about who she is.
Yeah.
Such great nonverbal acting.
Yeah.
As Mandy and I say 100,000 times, it's our favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did it the whole episode. I watched this episode 4 times. I don't know why I tortured myself.
Me either, man. Twice was tough.
I watched it twice just because it was so good. And then I watched it the third time because I was like, okay, I'm going to take notes. But I got so wrapped up in it, I forgot I was even taking notes. And then I had to watch it again to get my notes in. So, I love her. Letitia, if you're listening, if anybody knows Letitia, please come talk to us. We would love to talk with you.
We love you, girl.
Truly amazing. And
you're a great addition to the staff.
she's the only like new person that I instantly fell in love with. Like she has the vibe of the first season where all of those characters instantly like settled in for me and I was interested in where they were going. She's the one new character that I'm like, oh, I love her immediately.
I like a lot of them, but I think that she's got a spark. That actress, Letitia, she is
she's so
she's going to
good.
go places.
Oh yeah.
She has a I don't know what the right word is, like just a charisma about her. There's something just about her presence. Yeah, well, yeah. For somebody that young, it's pretty remarkable.
It's so great. And like whenever she's on screen, like I can't take my eyes off of her.
You gravitate to her.
Yeah.
She sucks you in even when she's not saying anything. It's just like, geez, you're just so brilliant.
And speaking of brilliant, I just wanted to highlight something real quick about Dana and Langdon.
Yes, please.
I appreciated her approach to Langdon. I thought that that's what he's been looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, she did let him off the hook really easily, but that's Dana. I saw a lot of humility from him, and now I kind of understand what he's doing. He's trying to make amends with everyone.
Hitting his 12 steps.
Which makes sense. And also, it kind of adds on to why Robbie's being a shitty supervisor right now. Of like, this is what he's trying to do. He's very aware. And I also like how Dana got some jabs in there, as she deserves to do, where she's like, you're not as fast as you used to be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that is accurate.
Yeah, one of the notes I made for this week is just Dana is completely not here for men's bullshit.
I love it.
That's one of the my favorite things is how many times she had, well, and Santos too, but there were so many times this episode where she's the one that's reminding everybody, suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
In line with what you're saying, I liked what she said to Santos when Santos was losing it, and Dana encourages her, hey, I wouldn't push you if I didn't think you could handle it. So just even when she's pissing people off, she's still teaching them and coaching them and encouraging them, and it's just freaking great.
What I love about her, she reminds me, I think the people that I admire the most in this life are strong female role models. I can get in anybody's face I need to, but if you're an older woman who's an intellect I admire, it is very difficult for me to stand up to you. And those people awe me because they literally changed my life. You know, I didn't finish my degree. I was working in a restaurant, didn't know what my future was going to be. And I got very lucky and had a strong female role model who saw something in me. And she gave me a hand into the corporate world. And then from there, everybody who has ever helped me to advance my career has been a woman like Dana, a woman that was not overly sentimental, but she was going to be there to look for other younger women. And instead of doing what a lot of people do, which is seeing that as a threat, they gave them a hand up. And I am so grateful for that in my life, that I think that's part of what I love about that character. She reminds me of all of the women that have been there to help me in my life.
She is 100% my mother, and I love her. One more thing before we move into Perla and Princess. I just want to talk about the donuts. It was a funny moment. I loved her ranting, and then Robbie's like, "You want me to get you one?" And she's like, "Of course I do, but I'm not taking admin's blood pastries." But I liked that segue of bringing up that Dana is still pissed off that, yeah, okay, you can give us donuts. And Mandy and I, and Sam, I don't know if you've experienced this much, but being in the corporate world, there's a lot of ways they will try to pacify you instead of giving you what you really need. And I like that Dana highlighted, okay, they won't pay us what we need to be paid. They won't staff us the way we need to be staffed. They won't get security to protect us from getting hurt, but they will go ahead and give us some fucking donuts.
Right.
That happens. I felt that in my soul, and I am not a nurse. I am not a physician. And I felt that in my soul. The hospitals I have worked at, I will generalize this because it does happen quite a lot. Fuck all you hospital administrators. All of you. Like, there may be one or two that actually listen to their staff and show up. The rest of you are bloodthirsty vulture leeches, and I cannot stand you. And you guys all showed your asses during COVID, and no one is forgetting. So obviously doctors and nurses can't name this in their hospitals because of their jobs. I am echoing it. They will ignore all of this stuff that happens. They will override clinician directives because they don't want to get sued or they don't want to have to deal with it. And it's not in the patient's best interest. But you have to do it anyway because hospital administrators say it. And then what do you do to celebrate us? You give us fucking donuts or pizza. And it's like, fuck all of you.
Yeah.
That's not what we need. That's not what's needed.
That's not what the nurses need. They need pay increases.
I shouted at the TV when she finished her rant. My classic favorite line from season 1 is "Read the room, Gloria."
Yeah.
Don't nobody know where your ass is at. Can't nobody find you. Take your donuts and read the fucking room.
I think that you reiterated, Sam, though, and this storyline reiterates that is exactly the fucking problem, is that we are running hospitals like corporate America with all of the same problems as corporate America, except now you throw in that people's actual lives are on the line. It's jacked up.
Oh, you don't even want to know, because I know the Pitt is underfunded, and of course there's honestly a lot of hospitals that are underfunded. Yeah, how much is the director of your hospital being paid? The one who sees no patients, the one who is not on the front lines, who doesn't have to deal with the shootings or the outbreaks or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, this is public knowledge. You can look up federal salaries. Like, it's public knowledge. Like, the directors of at least the VA hospitals vary, and they get paid $500,000 a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they deserve it, whatever. But if your hospital's underfunded, which thankfully a lot of VAs aren't, but a lot of regular hospitals are, like, how much is the director being paid? The CEO? How much is Gloria being paid?
Right.
It makes me so mad for the doctors and nurses. I'm so mad on their behalf.
Well, and the patients.
Yeah, and the patients.
All right, so moving on to Perla and Princess. Princess is really the key rock star in all of this.
No, I'm going to say both of them.
No, both of them were. I saw more.
Princess got more lines for sure.
Yeah. Her observations and her actions that came from it, knowing to remove Jackson's sister from the room because Dr. Jefferson wasn't able to get a clear conversation with her brother, which we learned he's experiencing auditory hallucinations and that his sister hasn't seen him in a while. So it makes sense that his mental decline would not have been noticed and she wouldn't know what was going on. But then comforting the sister after Javati messes up by saying, well, we'll figure out what's wrong with him. Way to go, Javati. Being there to comfort Perla, her absolute care and compassion for Roxy's embarrassment at not being able to get off the bedpan and her cheerful, that's what I'm here for. Talking with her like she's a human being and listening to what Roxy is telling her. And it broke my heart to hear Roxy talk about seeing the light go out of her husband and her kids. Princess is trying to be reassuring, telling her that, they do it because they love you. And Mandy, I thought of you when Roxy asked her, how do you do this? And she said she goes home and does this, but then she escapes to Love Island. Mandy loves Love Island.
Me too.
I love to hate Love Island.
Same.
I want to say that I did not realize how much I've been jonesing for more Princess and Perla in my life.
Yeah.
I was so excited that we got a lot of that this episode. Kristen Villanueva is another one of those that just has the subtlest of facial expressions. And I just am so glad that we got an episode with a lot of her in it. I loved seeing her compassion. Perla broke my heart.
Oh, yes.
She was feeling the weight of Louis' loss, man. But
Yes.
but her jumping in to help.
Yeah.
They just do the Lord's work. I don't understand that this season, but they do just, I love so much that the people that there are, it's a TV show. A lot of this is just but we talked a little bit about this with Gavin Brivik this week, that I have a friend who's a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she can't really watch the show because she gets hung up on all of the things that are not accurate. But I wish that she could appreciate how hard they are working to highlight real life situations that actual nurses get in every single day and fight through, and the services and the things that they do for people. I don't want to dominate everything, but just for a minute, I want to talk about that cancer patient, because that story is, I know it's going to be tough because Becky's got some stuff going on in her real life that makes this is really hard to talk about.
I want to ask you a question
Sure.
about her. I wrote this down because I wanted to get your thoughts, and I have a feeling you might be segueing into that. I feel like this is my note here. Roxy's fear about going home and her decision that she preferred to stay in the hospital. And I think it's because she can't handle feeling that she's a burden on her family and all the care that she needs. And then Princess showed her that the staff at the hospital, this is what we're here to do, is to help you guys. And I think she wants to stay so it isn't all on her family. Is that what is that where you were heading?
That's what I got.
Partly, and this is just my opinion, and obviously I have found that unlike the Better Sister, I cannot read these writers like a book. But I think that because of things that, I've experienced with family members in my own life, getting to the end of life, and I think you guys are probably able to relate to this as well. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be an end of life situation. I thought a lot about my pregnancies during this episode. There's a moment in my marriage that will always and forever be like the most precious memory to me. And it was when I was in labor with Ava, and I ended up having a C-section. It wasn't like a huge medical emergency. It just progressed to that point where it became obvious. But it was very stressful for everybody in the room. And at that point, I just wanted that fucking baby out. So what was hardest for me was managing the emotions of my family. There was a moment where they were trying to break my water. It was not working. And it was very painful. And I yelled out, and my husband's face, in that moment, like it just broke him. And my mom, there was a moment where my mom was like, "You're too little to be having surgery." I was 27 and she was sobbing because they were going to have to take me in for a C-section. Those are like two of my most precious memories in my life where I felt the most loved. But it also, in the moment, was a lot to deal with. Managing other people. I think she is tired of hearing what a saint her husband is. Quite honestly, I think part of this is to protect him and the kids, but I think also she can't do this and experience it the way that she needs to experience it if she is also feeling the guilt of having to rely on the love of her life, who may be a great husband. He may be all of these wonderful things, but now she has to feel the guilt of what it's doing to him to watch her die. And man, the realness of that, just what a brilliant storyline. You were getting all of that from what was not being said, from the facial expressions of the women around her. I think every clinician in that room, they knew what was coming and why.
Yeah.
Just like you can see, like they're trying to offer her pain relief. And, Mandy, what you were saying really resonated too, of he's her cheerleader, which, like she's going through the 5 stages of grief. So I've ranted about this before. The 5 stages of grief are only for dying people. And so it's like she needs to be able to sit in the sadness and the misery and the grief and not wanting to leave her husband and saying like, this hurts. I'm in pain. I hate being here. I don't want to leave, but I'm miserable at the same time. And he's like a little cheerleader being like, it'll be fine. And it's like, no, stop, sit in her with it.
Right.
Which I think the staff has been.
Yeah. had to do that with my mom last week.
Yeah.
You know, it was reality sets in, and this is our situation. And I sat there with her while I watched her go through anger and depression all at one time, you know, but I didn't say anything. I just let her get it out because I
Yeah.
realized at that moment, she doesn't need a cheerleader. She just needs to get this out. And I'm going to shut up and I'm going to, which is hard for me because y'all know I love to talk. But, you know, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to just let her get it out. And I think that is a key thing that you guys, my friends, have helped me understand that being there for somebody doesn't mean fixing the problem. It just
Mhm.
means being there. I don't know what this feels like. I'm not carrying what you're carrying. It's so hard to navigate.
It's
It
so hard.
is.
You feel for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much impossible. I mean, like, no one teaches us about how to do this. And I can tell you as a psychologist, Becky, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And this husband, like, to a
He's
degree,
doing the right thing.
he's trying. And, like, you know, not to put this all on, you know, I hate that they call her cancer mom. But like she's so much more than that, but she does need to tell him. I think that's maybe her story arc. Is like she needs to tell him, like, stop being my cheerleader. I'm dying, and we need to sit in that grief and sadness right now.
Right.
It's not going to be sad every day. You got to let me feel this because this is my journey. And so that also means he has to accept it.
Yeah. Well, they have to separate.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few really wrong ways to help someone die. The vast amount, it's impossible.
Right. He's doing exactly what his instinct tells him to do. And it's not an incorrect instinct to want to be the strong one. Like, that's what you're supposed to do when you're a partner. And you've taken on the responsibility that you're going to stick through with them thick and thin, better or worse, you know, death do us part. But at the same time, as a person who is the person on the other end of that marriage who is going through the actual dying, I absolutely could understand why you would get to a point where
Of course.
it doesn't even have to be unrelenting cheerleading, just the unrelenting, like, having to look in the face of the person that you used to have sex with, that you raised children with, that, you know, you had bodily dignity with at some point, and you have to lose all of that. And on top of that, got to feel that guilt. I think that's what it is. It's just mostly
It's
about
hard.
her wanting to be able to experience this without having to take on the emotional responsibility of his happiness as well.
Yeah. And just, you know, to kind of tie up what you ladies were saying too, it is enormously hard to love someone so much and so hard and know you can't fix it. No one can fix it. We're not built to be that helpless.
It's the worst part of the human condition.
Yeah. And so, like, having that and sitting with that is very difficult of like, oh, I can't fix this. And what they need, I didn't come up with this. It was a famous person who was much wiser than me who said, people don't need you to fix it. They need you to sit in the shit with them.
Yeah. And that's hard.
That is way more difficult than fixing.
Especially if it's somebody you love.
Yeah. So it's, you know, we're sort of seeing this play out, and I'm looking forward to her speaking up and saying what she actually needs. Because right now he doesn't know.
Yeah. It's going to be gut wrenching.
It's going to be really hard because then he's going to finally accept.
Yeah.
After 7 years that she is dying and he can't fix it. Speaking of loss, I mean, Perla feeling the weight of Louis' loss.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking.
But still seeing Santos struggling and slipping her
immediately
5-hour
jumping in.
energy drink
just,
and
you
giving
know.
her encouragement. It's just like, man,
Ugh.
y'all are amazing. And we know that the 21st birthday party is happening.
I know.
Here's what I'm wanting from that. I'm wanting the 21st birthday party to be Mateo shows up. They haven't been dating, but now he's like, girl, you're a woman now. And then like asks her out, like, what's his name from the end of 16 Candles. He shows up in his pod.
Oh, with this cake.
Yes, with a cake. And
very sweet.
yes. Well, Javati's Gen Z. She's probably like, that is so sexy. Like this.
Yeah,
No.
she could probably be like, what is 16 Candles?
Right. Do not watch it. If you haven't seen it, Javati does not hold up well.
Before we move on from Princess and Perla, I do want to note, just to add to Princess's glory in this episode, of her trying her best to help Harlow even though she had limited ASL knowledge, and then stayed to try to comfort Harlow after Santos' semi-rude exit. But I want to know, why is no one giving this woman a pen and a piece of paper to write shit down?
Thank you.
This is not that hard, right?
Right. That never occurred to me, though.
Like, I have worked with individuals in the hearing impairment community and stuff. We wrote stuff down. Like, I mean, now we have it all on our phone. I don't know why that's not happening either. I guess it was frustrating for me to watch, not because of Princess. Like, they're like, IT's backed up. Well, guess who would have gone and get the ITs? They have like 3 social workers down there. Go up and grab it and bring it down. I can't be the only mental health worker in the ER that went out and did that stuff.
Well, didn't they say that they didn't have anybody? That
Yeah,
they
they didn't have anyone that was available. They were all busy.
They didn't have the interpreter, but they have a system that they can bring down that will do the interpreting for you. And that's why they said, like, IT's busy. They can't bring it down. So there are really helpful
get your ass
systems.
up there and go get it. Yeah, okay.
Like, I mean, you have 2 social workers. No one's going to take the elevator real quick.
I'm just saying, you got pad and a piece of paper. She could have told you 7
Right.
hours ago what the hell was wrong with her, and you could. Y'all are smart ass people. How has this
I don't
not
want to victim
happened?
blame, but honestly, why isn't Harlow bringing that up? Because I don't think this is her first day being
She
hearing
probably
impaired.
has, but these motherfuckers don't know what she's saying.
Absolutely. You know what? You're right. I'm not going to victim blame.
I've used it. Like what are we doing here?
I'm a dumbass because this never occurred to me.
Which makes me laugh so hard that you, of all people, did not catch that.
No, I was so hung up on the fact that Perla also speaks ALS. Like, what does she not do? Or
For 6
ASL?
languages.
And it's Princess.
Princess, I'm sorry.
And then there's also, like, you can also type it into your phone. And, like, yes, it's not ideal, but it's easier to write. So if people don't have dexterity in their hands to write, or
There's options.
yeah,
On to Donnie, which was awesome.
God.
A light part of the episode.
Yes, and he's a nurse practitioner. Congratulations.
Yay, Donnie.
I had to laugh at Princess giving him shit about his sugar intake.
Everybody was giving him shit about his diet and habits this week.
He's like, look, I got a baby at home. I'm not sleeping. I got to get to the chef. Let me have my donut. And when he took the donut, and Dana's like, et tu, Donnie?
Yeah, that's Donnie.
But what I loved, the theme throughout this episode, and several doctors say it, but Mohan telling Emma that Donnie is the best and you'll learn a lot from him. And Donnie's like, that's right. And then he does. He walks in and he flat out shows Whitaker and these med students his badass sub-Q stitching, which I love that I know what sub-Q is.
Right?
So a couple of things about that. One, I want to say that I wanted to punch Ogilvy in the face when he was so callous about Lou passing away. And he was just such a perfect creep. Like I wrote in my notes, I'm pretty sure this guy's a serial killer throughout his. But one of the things I loved is how he bowed down to Donnie.
Yes, he did.
Because Donnie knows how to stitch skin, which doesn't at all sound weird and creepy. But I loved how in love with Donnie he was immediately. I hate him because he seems like such an asshole, but at least he's not elitist about being a doctor, because he definitely was respectful of Donnie's skills.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is, I don't know if you guys have watched it, but after the episode,
Yes.
they have like a little mini special where they talk about the boot camp that they went through.
Yeah, becoming doctors.
I was just really impressed. I mean, we've had some of our guests talk about the boot camp before that we've interviewed, but I did not realize that they taught you things like how to actually sew a wound and how to insert a trach and all that.
And
that's
very
very
IVs
cool.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
What other show does that? You know, that's crazy.
No. And I liked how, like, the person who was, I guess he's like the professional, like, you know, medical doctor.
The doctor,
that they
Dr. Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was like, we had to put 4 years of med school, 4 years of like, and I was like, yeah, that's a lot you're teaching them.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it because it just continues to add to the legitimacy of the show. And what makes it great is that these people care enough to have them do the work, but that the actors do the work and learn it and do their best to give us as accurate a portrayal as they can.
Yeah, every interview we've had that's mentioned it has talked about how one of the real big differences of working on this show is that when you go on, it does not feel like very quickly, it does not feel like a set anymore. It feels like an actual hospital by design. Like one of the things that, just as a spoiler alert, if Becky's okay with me bringing it up, when we interviewed Charles Baker this week, and that Becky's working on editing that now, guys, I cannot wait for you to hear this interview. Just fascinating. But one of the things that he told us was that everybody is wearing scrubs, the cameramen, everybody, because they don't want to lose the environment, like the reality that they're trying to craft. And he said it absolutely is different than any other set he's been on.
It's very cool.
It's so cool. Like, I mean, I wore scrubs whenever I was working on the medical units. I had to wear scrubs because it's a part of the team unity. So I like that sort of generalized mindset for everyone of like, you can't do anything without the cameraman over here who's wearing scrubs. Also, it helps if they accidentally get into frame.
Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah.
That was like, I like that.
Yeah, but I mean, just the attention to detail is it's amazing.
So amazing.
Speaking of attention to detail, we get some info on Donnie's tattoos. He got its initials DC and M and B. The DNC stands for Death and Chaos that he got after the Pitt Fest shooting, which tracks. And then Miracles and Blessings that he got after his daughter was born. So I thought it was an interesting way to showcase one on one wrist, one on the other, and how you bring it together. And that is basic. The way I looked at it, that's basically what life is like. It is chaos and death, and it is miracles and blessings. I mean, it's like a full circle moment. So I really liked getting more of Donnie's personal history this season. And I thought that the tattoos were a very nice nod to add.
Agreed.
All right. So next up is Jesse. I just have a short note for Jesse. I just want to highlight his compassion, the way both he and Dana, but the way he took the time to talk to Gus as if he's a human being, get to know him, and show us that you don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, this guy's in prison. We don't know what he did, but that doesn't necessarily define his whole person. And it doesn't mean he doesn't deserve dignity and respect. And we'll get more into that when we get into Robbie and Dr. Al's back and forth over him. But I just loved Ned Brower's acting and just loved the writing and the way he just took a minute to get to know Gus and then told Dana, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I loved that. I like the filliness of it all. Him and Dana both, once they realized he was also a neighborhood, because they are clearly both locals. And once they realized he was just a neighbor, he was more than just, I hope we never find out what he did. Originally, I was very curious about that. But quite honestly, I hope we don't find out. I hope that doesn't become a focal point.
No, I want he's just a man in the system who needs help, and here's the help he's getting. And I hope that that's as far as it goes.
I want to bring up, though, just real quick, that I did Google, because I always really get hung up on the local Philly references and want to see.
Philly. People are going to get mad at you if you keep saying Philly.
I know, and I'm so sorry, guys. I do it every week. I don't know why. But at any rate, I'm always really interested in the local references. So when Dana was talking to him and she asked him if he was familiar with, or if he knew Sonny's, because they realized that they grew up and are very close to each other. And he says, I worked at Sonny's Tavern all through high school. Sonny's Tavern is real. It is a dive bar. There was a recent shooting at Sonny's within the last week or two. So there's some controversy there, but I want to go to Sonny's. It looks awesome. It's a dive bar. Divey McDive.
We are taking a road trip to Pittsburgh sometime in the near future to go experience all of these places.
It just looks like a cool place. And I just thought, it's the diviest of dive bars. And
those are my favorite places.
Yeah,
me too.
That's how the food is good. Yep. The drinks are good. Right.
Give me a hole in the wall over your fancy schmancy stuff.
Everybody in all of these photos looks like they're having the best time of their life.
Yeah.
I want to share Sonny's with the world. It looks pretty cool.
And last of our nurse sightings, we got on bar! Exclamation point.
That was in my notes.
AKA Nurse Kim. Shout out to our girl on bar. She hopefully is going to be coming on with us at the end of the season.
Oh, I hope so. I loved her. She's such a sweetheart.
Yes.
I loved her coming in and just immediately showing up Whitaker and the look of joy on Robbie's face. And Joy is like, how does she know that? He's like, she just does. And then dropping the knowledge on the penicillin allergy. I'm like, rocket girl. And then I loved when Whitaker is telling the students regarding the nurses, you listen to whatever they say, they run the show, and it mirrored what Robbie said to him in season 1, and the look of pride on Robbie's face, but also the look of absolute admiration on Kim's face, which makes me wonder, is she still vibing Whitaker or has that ship sailed? I don't know.
So we've talked about this before, Sam, but Ambar is actually a nurse in real life. And just FYI, she got hired originally, as we found out, was we did our interview with her last season. She got hired for that, but she wanted to get into acting. And there have been, so she's been, I think this may be one of her first roles. Yeah.
I never would have thought that she fits in so seamless. I mean, like, not, that she's a nurse, yes, but that she was newer to acting and trying to break in. She fits in so seamlessly.
She does.
Like, she's riveting on screen. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's a great. I think Becky, did she tell us she had been on like 911 shows before in the past? She's done it because I think she was, again, consulting with them, and then maybe she got some screen time with them. But I hope that her career just keeps taking off.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She fits in so seamlessly.
And just she's so sweet.
She's just a really good person.
I love that.
All right.
And the moment.
Let's head into our last main point. So we lost our beloved Louis. It was heartbreaking watching how hard they worked to try to save him. And then, you see Robbie working, but then standing in the background when he's realizing that there's nothing else to be done. And then Dana comes in and Robbie gives that just shake of his head that we saw last season several times. And then Langdon is like, okay, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And Robbie's not being a dick about it. Finally, he's like, this is it. We've done all we can do. And so, timestamp at 12:07, Louis is officially gone. But here's what struck me the most about this scene. 2 things. One, did y'all notice the shot of Mr. Digby in the background paying very close attention to Louis dying? And I hope that gives Mr. Digby like incentive, triggers his mind to realize that he doesn't have to live this life, that there's resources and things out there, and that he does. Basically, it made me think, seeing Louis die like that's not the way he wants to go out. I don't know. Maybe it was just because we just talked with Charles, but I don't know. I felt something in that just brief moment. And they don't do anything unintentionally. But the second thing is that they ask about, are we going to do the debrief? And that's when Dana speaks up and says that there's a trauma coming in, so it has to wait. I thought this was a brilliant way to show that even when these guys are suffering with a traumatic loss or a traumatic situation, much like the Pitt Fest last season, the show must go on. They got to go back to work and save that processing for later. So I just really loved how they did that.
Dana's a compartmentalizing champ. But I want to say the Digby thing, my take on that, Becky, and it'd be interesting to see. I would love to see him have a happy ending, but I didn't take it that way. The way I thought of it is Digby has clearly some degree. I think Charles confirmed for us he's got bipolar and schizophrenia. And the thing with being unhoused and the problem with the way that our country currently is, people that are suffering that degree of mental illness, there's not a lot of choice usually involved in being able to say, well, I want to have a better life. Like I told Becky before we got on that this season is doing a real good job of hitting all the highlights of everything that is like a phobia of mine in the entire world. Schizophrenia, that is a major phobia. As somebody who had depression and anxiety most of my life, I was terrified that I was going to develop schizophrenia at some point. And to this day, I will just say very frankly that no matter what I have been through, one of the reasons that I refuse to say that I quote unquote suffer from mental illness is because I thank God every day that I don't have to deal with that degree of mental illness. What I thought, because there was another moment in there where somebody, I think it was Perla, said at least Louis didn't die on the street, is that Louis was also unhoused and that they know each other. That was what I thought was going on.
Very possible.
That's very likely.
I need hope, so I'm just looking at it.
Me too, man.
It could be all of that. It could be all of it mixed together.
Yeah.
When I watched the episode last night, I was like, the one episode they invite me on is the one where Louis dies.
We didn't. To be fair, we did not know that was what was happening.
No, I'm teasing.
Yeah.
You guys could have no idea. I cried a bunch. I'm also pregnant, so I cry at everything. I cried when he died. I love that they had Robbie and Langdon not just together and probably the longest physicians that had worked with him that are still in the hospital.
Yeah.
But also he is an avatar or like a ghost of Christmas future for both of them.
Yeah.
Langdon with his substance use, and we saw their connection earlier in the show, and Robbie with his PTSD. Like, if you don't get help, this is how it ends.
Yeah.
It's sad and it's awful, and people who care about you can't save you. I like that it was the two of them together really working on him because they are on this precipice, and Langdon's trying. Like, he's gotten help and he's trying. He's still in that first year of recovery, so it's super shaky.
Fragile. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Robbie just sort of seeing this. And so I thought it was really good having them together. And then I cried when Robbie told the story. I really appreciated that together. And it also, I'm trying not to cry. It also reminded me a lot of the patients who've died.
Yeah.
And, you know, just kind of, no, I'm hormonal because I'm pregnant. But it is really sad because you do get connected to them. And he wasn't alone. He wasn't on the street. He was surrounded by the only royal family he had left. And so it's like, you know, I'm not doing the life-saving measures, obviously. But yeah, you do get pretty attached to them, like the show says. And it is really hard and you miss them. And then, yeah, you have to go back about your life. I don't know how the physicians and nurses do it. Just as a psychologist, it's super tough. And you do think about them. So if anyone who has lost a loved one and they're like, I wasn't there when they died, 9 times out of 10, the staff was there for them. And
someone cared. Yeah, this was so much less horrifying than the death of the man that came from the nursing home early on in the season, where it was pretty much just like, well, he passed with strangers and no one who knew or had an emotional connection to him. Everyone cared about Louis in there. And so that at least was something, especially once we find out what we do about his home life. But I want to make a point real quick that we had a moment in there where we saw some of the problem between Robbie and Langdon. When Langdon said, I wonder how many times he said he was going to quit drinking, and Robbie quickly looked over at him, you get a glimpse that is part of Robbie's fear, is that Langdon is going to relapse, which the way he's reacting is absolutely not okay, but it's a valid fear.
Yeah, 100%. Especially since he hasn't talked to him.
Right. Kind of hard to know where his head's at when he's not choosing to take time and make that effort. But yeah, I thought that was your brilliance of the show. You blink and you miss it. But like that look on Robbie's face, like, yeah, I wonder, you know, like you can see part of what his anger is telling him.
I don't know. I saw that a little differently. I kind of saw it as both of them realizing not just Robbie's fear that Langdon is going to relapse, but also Langdon forcing Robbie to look at the fact that Robbie's still not facing his own demons. It may not be a narcotic or a liquor or something like that, but that, you know, it was in their shouting match at the end of the season. I think it was that to me, I see yes to what you're saying, but I felt like it was more of a kind of a Langdon calling out Robbie because Robbie's not dealing with his shit.
I saw it both, like the Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Like I saw it both of them exactly at the same time because they're not thinking of themselves in that moment.
No.
They're thinking of the person next to them that they care about. And Robbie's like, yes, it is a scary thing. I'm worried about you relapsing. And of course, Langdon's like, when are you going to get help? No helmet, motorcycle rider. I think they both just kind of like, and didn't think about themselves in the moment, but that they were worried about the other person.
Yeah. Fucking Ogilvy, I'm pissed the way he was speaking about Louis with the nurses. And then fucking poor Whitaker is talking about going to check on Louis, and this dumbass, I don't understand what is wrong with this guy to be in a hospital to be such an idiot and read the room, Ogilvy.
Mhm.
Read the room, Gloria. Read the room, Ogilvy.
It's
And then he just
basic.
he croaked. And then I loved Perla. And what's the language, Mandy?
Tagalog.
Same fucking new guy. And then also
Right.
before the debrief, which we'll get to in a second, started, and Ogilvy was just casually leaning against the wall like it was any other moment and any other day. And the look that Robbie shot him was great.
Mhm.
I hate Ogilvy.
I can't stand him. I think he's the number one character I can't stand in this show ever.
Yeah, I got no patience for him.
Yeah, I don't know what he could possibly do to come back from this, because I don't know if they're trying to make him like an Alex Karev from Grey's Anatomy. He's not charming, though.
Mm-mm.
So if you're going to be a jerk, you can't like just be a jerk. And that's kind of just what he's
never say never on this show, because I think they do a really good job of making you hate somebody and then giving you some context that shows you that they're only human too.
That's
so
true.
I feel the same way you guys do about him, but I'm going to leave open the possibility. I mean, hell,
That's
I
true.
did not like Langdon at all last season, and he is definitely growing on me.
Yeah, and same with Santos. You know how I felt about her the majority of the first season, but she's growing on me. So who knows? But right now, he is forever he will be known as fucking Ogilvy.
This was like far beyond both of those characters.
I Googled how to say fucking new guy in Tagalog because I'm going to start using it. Is that cultural appropriation? Can I do that? Surely I can. If I can say gracias, I can say...
I think so.
Tanganang Bagahan.
I'm going to edit that out until you learn how to properly say it. And then save that for next episode.
Hey, I am just a Tanganang Baguhan right now. Okay. All right. I'm really excited about, because I'm working in an office occasionally where it would not be appropriate for me to.
We got to learn to say things in other languages.
Exactly.
Whitaker's reaction was sad, and Langdon having to fill him in on everything. And I think it was very cute that Perla knew of his love of Rita Moreno.
Sweet.
But what slayed me was they were calling his emergency contact. And that was a punch to the gut. Them realizing that this group was his family. And it made me so grateful that he was with all of them when he died and not alone. Fuck, man. That gutted me.
Oh my God. That backstory will go down in history as one of the saddest ever.
Seriously. But then Whitaker, LOL, Santos falling asleep. Well, why people continue to try to talk to Santos about anything, I will never understand.
She's so tired. They need to leave that poor woman alone.
She got to get her shit together.
Yeah.
But Whitaker finally got Robbie to fist bump him. Got a double fist bump.
Yeah,
that was cute.
Just as a real payoff.
Yeah.
That backstory, like, man, that's the thing. Just reiterates, you never know what someone's real story is. It's just hard. I always say, like, I love humanity. I don't like people. And I can be very impatient. And I think for me personally, that was a good reminder that even the people you don't like often have trauma and tragedy and things in their background that you just don't know. Especially with people with addiction, it's very easy to judge. But if you don't know what kind of trauma that they have in their background, I don't know how you would move on from that. Like, I'd drink myself to death too.
Yeah, like and it made sense. Like, kind of shout out to Kano. Like, he is in the pre-contemplative stage of change. He doesn't want it.
Yeah.
And like a rule of thumb for those of us in mental health, and it's just a rule of thumb. It's not an absolute. Is when someone's addicted to substances or any type of avoidance, they're running from some sort of pain, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. They're using it to medicate something. That's why they can't go without it.
Yeah.
I like to say, though, my little PSA shout out as a psychologist, it's a reason, it's not an excuse.
No, but you can't do anything about that. That's where free will comes in. And he was resigned. Like, it was very obvious very early on in this season that Louis was very much resigned to never wanting to not have alcohol in his life. Now I get it. That was about as tragic as you could possibly get.
Absolutely. I think he just wanted to join them. I don't think he wanted to be here. And that's, the Western culture we don't do a great job with people who don't want to be here and aren't dying. I know Switzerland and other places have a more humane approach to it. And I still have my ethics. I practice in the West, but we really don't know what to do with people like this.
Yeah.
And so, like, the ones who have their state of mind, Louis knew what was going on. Like, what do you do about that?
Yeah.
And it is a very hard place.
And there is no clear ethics on that issue. Because as somebody who has chronic depression, like, it pisses me off that one of the things that was really the hardest for me to accept about that is that I have a disease that might force me to have suicidal ideation, or like that was like when I was in my worst depressions, the fear of becoming suicidal was part of the worst thing that I dealt with, because I don't want to, the real me does not want to ever die.
Absolutely.
And so that is, to me, it's sometimes frustrating to see people who also have chronic depression who don't do all of the constant heavy lifting that I do to get myself to a better place.
Absolutely.
And so it can be frustrating for me when I see people who just don't want to try to get better. But on the other hand, again, that's, I think, what I'm saying for me personally. This was a great reminder that I don't know what tragedy some of these people might be dealing with, because quite frankly, I think I can be one of the most, I don't think it's even toxic positivity. I just am really deeply a believer in cognitive behavioral therapy and changing your mindset and all of that.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, there is a certain thing called toxic positivity. And when you have a tragedy like that in your background, who am I to tell you what you should and should not feel?
Yeah.
He had no one. No one.
I know, like that's the thing of like it all going down, and he was with the people who knew him best at the end,
right? And really, what can any of us ask more than that? You know?
Yeah.
It was sad for me as just like a human and a clinician, because you got no one else there, no friends. It's just your medical team.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for him was his version of a family, and I always say, I caution people: your medical team should not be your only family.
Yeah. But in this case, it probably is the reality a lot of times. And it's just it's a big world. It's a large world. There's a lot of us in it, and we all have our own stories. And that was a great reminder of that. But God, so hard to watch.
And then finding out Dana, I believe, was talking to Emma about what would happen with his remains, and they're going to cremate him and just put him in a pauper's grave. It's just devastating.
There's a person who uses social media as a tool because they have made it their mission to investigate the family stories of all of the people that are unclaimed. And I want to say they only do it like in a certain area of Texas. Every case, they will go back and give this person back their dignity. They find what they can about their life, about where they graduated, who their parents were. They try to find photos of them from like newspapers over the years. Sometimes they have really remarkable stories, and you would not believe how many people end up with no one to claim their remains. We like to think it's just the indigent or it's just the unhoused, but it is not. A lot of times it's just you were the last of your people.
And it's, we're far more in life than we ever are in death. And like we have a whole story before the end. And that lives on with different people in different ways. Just sort of wrapping it up. We kind of see this with Louis and people of the Pitt, the staff on there, of you'll never fully know everyone's life that you impacted. It's not really possible. And so it just kind of branches out, and parts of us that live on through people's memories and their good times with us, it's far more than what we are at the end.
Yeah. It's a good reminder.
They'll remember him.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thing.
I still remember all of my patients, and it's been a decade.
Right. Kind of echoes what Dana told Emma, that everybody has family.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't have family anymore, somewhere out there you do, or you did, and you're a person who's worthy of love and dignity and to be remembered.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on into chart notes. So we get our second motorcycle accident of the season. I'm trying not to be annoyed that they're beating us over the head with some things. Santos is charting, and now this. I'm going to let it ride, pun intended. But a few things that came of this that I thought were interesting. Joy's inability to answer the questions that she's being asked when they're treating this guy. And then we learn that she's planning to do pathology, which leads to me being right again last week, thinking that this is just simply a rotation for her, not a plan. I think pathology would be very good for her. I think she would be phenomenal.
Just to add on, I forgot to bring that up. They do rotations, even research physicians who's like, these are people who go on to never work with humans ever, aside from research. They all have to do all these rotations in their residency and in their fellowship.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch, and I've definitely run into residents and fellows that are like, I'm going into research, and I think in my head, that's a very good choice.
Good call. Mandy, you want to say it?
Garcia!
I will forever type her name like that. So did y'all get the impression that she was blowing off Santos when she asked her about coming over? Oh man, come on. See, this is gonna make me not like Garcia again if she's
pulling her around. I think that though that this led me to a theory that some of Santos's pissiness is because she's lonely and she's jealous that Whitaker is going to visit that girl instead of spending time with her. I could be wrong about that, but let's I got a little bit of flicker there of all she's doing is working and charting and she has no life and she's jealous that Whitaker has friends outside of her.
Interesting.
Could be.
I kind of think that after seeing that's what's going on. But Garcia, Alex, don't make me hate Garcia again.
Something's up. Like I got something from it, and like something had shifted from their meeting in the morning. Like it's just something weird. Like remember when she was talking about the toothbrushes and stuff? Like it was cutesy, and
I just think Garcia is kind of a withholding person in general.
Oh yeah, I mean she's a surgeon. Yeah.
I think this is just an indication that this is maybe not I don't know that either one of them are the most emotionally available people. So together in a relationship, I can see it being fraught if one of them catches feelings more than the other or feels more comfortable wanting to expand the relationship. Like I could definitely see those two characters having a very rocky time having anything more than a sexual relationship.
Just a quick thing that I forgot to add in about the second motorcycle accident. This is one of the biggest pet peeves for people in medicine. I know I'm generalizing. I'm just a psychologist, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves from working in a hospital. We call them donor cycles.
Yeah.
Like it is like what Robbie's doing is phenomenally stupid. And yes, I have been on a motorcycle. I get the appeal. And I'm sure there are doctors and nurses who ride motorcycles. Work in a hospital and see what happens to these people.
Helmet?
Yeah, and with forget it. Like with no helmet, you're just an organ donor.
Right. I keep coming back to what you said, passive suicidal ideation.
Yeah. Oh, without a helmet, forget it. They're all like, what are you doing?
It is monumentally stupid.
I get a feeling it's a lot of worry too. I don't think they know about like the rooftop discussions Robbie's had. So they're like, so you're being really reckless and we could have you on here any day now.
Yeah. Well, I think Dana
it is being beat over the head quite a bit. And it is like, it's a biggest, like I would mock my colleague nonstop, and I'm just a psychologist. I can only imagine for doctors and nurses. I get it. It's just the consequences are horrific when you see them up close.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine.
He finally found him somebody who agrees with his quote unquote sabbatical. So that was fun for him. So he talks about his buddy coming in. Is that Abbott?
I think so. He's coming next episode.
Is he like going on the trip with Robbie?
No, I think he just said they've been working on the bike together. I don't think he said anything about them.
Okay, because I thought he said somebody was supposed to be meeting him and they were heading out. And I thought, wait, is Abbott going with him?
Oh, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe, but I know that Abbott is coming in the next episode.
Yeah, he said someone's name. I didn't pick up. I didn't think it was Abbott. I could be wrong.
Duke,
but yeah,
I thought he just said my buddy.
He did, but there was another time when he asked towards the end. He asked Donnie if somebody had shown up.
Yeah.
And I think he said Duke.
Oh, I don't know.
It's Duke, yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious.
Interested.
Last note here, we just get an update that this poor waitress is having her leg amputated above the knee. That freaking sucked.
Talk about deep fears. Necrotizing fasciitis.
Is that one of yours?
One of my biggest fears. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like that's how I knew that's what it was. I don't know, because it spread so fast. There's nothing they can do. They just have to clear out the dead and infected tissue. It's horrific.
That one of my friends got bitten by a brown recluse a few years back, and like she has a huge gash in her leg now. 'Cause thank God, I mean, she didn't lose her leg, but I mean, she has a massive gash where they had to cut it all out.
It's horrific.
So next up, we've got our Alan Robbie. This was so interesting to me at the change in the character development, because normally you've got Robbie, who is championing for, social justice, for all of this for his patients. But this time it's the other way around, because, Dr. Al is strictly by the book, and it's very different from the start of the season with Dr. Al versus Dr. Robbie to what we know of Robbie's character. And this is the second time this season that balance has been off. But, Robbie wants to keep him in an open room to, quote unquote, keep an eye on him. But Dr. Al wants to preserve his dignity and give him a room with some privacy, which I think is correct. And then, Dr. Al is concerned that Gus isn't going to get the care he needs to properly heal within the prison healthcare system. Doesn't mean she doesn't think he's not going to get care. It's just not going to get the care he needs to properly heal. I think that was very important. But Robbie wants to get him out because he can get care at the prison. So this was just a really interesting character swap. Mandy's got something she wants to say.
I got a massive theory. I could be totally off on this, but I'm putting together some context clues. Dr. Al. We know that she's had some trauma around a baby in the past. Seems to be that she has had some trauma around a baby in the past. Yeah. We know that she said that she has never been sued for malpractice. We know that she is very empathetic to Langdon being in the doctor recovery program. Is that what it's called?
Physicians recovery, I think.
Physicians recovery program. And we know that she is now showing an incredible amount of empathy to a prisoner who she seems to very acutely understand is probably being malnourished and is not going to get the care he needs when he goes back. What if Dr. Al had a addiction issue at some point in her past, was inebriated or something like that, caused the death of her own child or someone else's child in an accident, and did prison time?
Damn, that would be, I hope you're wrong, because I don't need all that packed on this heavy ass shit they're putting on us. But man, that's I could see some of that playing out.
I'm curious. I'm rolling big. I'm putting it all. I'm betting it all on black. Like I just put all my money down on this massive bet. But I am curious. I feel like at least some of those context clues are going to pay off.
Maybe she knows someone close. And this I honestly don't know. Can you practice medicine with like a manslaughter charge and conviction?
I don't know this. This is a great question for anybody out there that might be in the medical field, that might have some knowledge, or the legal field that might have some knowledge of that. We would love to hear from you. But I thought about that. But then I thought, if she didn't do anything, if it was not in the commission of her job, if, the accident or whatever happened was not during work hours, and she were, for whatever reason, only there for a year and a half, something like, for whatever reason, maybe she got off, there were mitigating circumstances, whatever. If it wasn't in the commission of her practice, I mean, like, if they can bring Langdon back after everything that Langdon did on the job, I don't know. I really don't know.
I can lose my job if I'm ever pulled over for like a DUI. I mean, I don't know if that's just the federal government rules. I do know every time my licensure comes up, they always ask about that.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I know my license is very iffy. I don't think they'd fire you right away with being under the influence and being pulled over. But if you killed someone because you were under the influence, I think that's probably Langdon's only saving grace, is when they did a chart review that he didn't actually kill anyone.
Maybe Becky's right, and it was somebody close to her.
Yeah,
maybe a spouse.
Maybe it was like, her spouse or something.
It would stand that she had somebody in her life at some point, and maybe that person or a family member or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm curious. You brought up some things that could make a lot of sense. So I'm very curious where that goes.
I will say, as someone who was a very public Dr. Al-Hashimi disliker, she won me over in this episode. I sided with her overall over Robbie, and I was just so furious with Robbie. I'm like, now you care about staff, patient, and public safety? You didn't last year with the would-be shooter.
Right.
So that's like, what I'm saying. He's furious. It's very interesting what he's standing. What's how's the saying go? What he's choosing to plant his flag for on
the hill he chooses to die
hill,
on.
Thank you. And it's back and forth last season, and we're getting a bit of that this season. But here's where Robbie really pissed me off. So Santos got in trouble for using Dr. AI's charting app because it caused mistakes, and Santos didn't proof check, and Robbie was quick to make a snide comment about it. But Dr. Al, as annoying as she is with this AI stuff, she has said a million times, there is a 2% margin of error and you have to proofread. And Santos pissed me off by being all Santosy and saying, oh, I didn't have time, won't happen again. And I got sad for Dr. Al having to forcefully stand up for herself. She says that she's, everything she's done is an effort to improve the system. Just because it's broken doesn't mean you stop trying, which is what lit a fire for Dana to go help her. Yeah. But I just think it was absolute bullshit that this was Santos. That was Santos's fuck up. And I feel like pushed all that on Dr. Allen. She didn't deserve it at that point.
I agree, but I don't think you're correct about Santos, and she should have been proofreading. I don't know what the answer is to the fact that she can't stay awake, but just to defend her slightly in that moment, she was literally asleep over there. So she missed most of that. She didn't react until Robbie yelled out her name, and you could literally see her waking up. And all she was concerned about was giving the answer that Robbie was looking for. Yep. Won't happen again.
I won't do it again.
She wasn't thinking about Dr. Al.
I will say, and I called this when I think I sent in the feedback for like episode 1 in this season when she was trying to get everyone to do the AI stuff. I called this. You cannot do this for a staff. Like, and she's like, there's a 2% error rate. I told them to proofread. They don't proofread right now.
They're exhausted. That's the whole complexity of it.
I can guarantee, like, the mistakes that were in there were pretty bad. I totally saw where the surgeon was coming from. There's a big difference between Santos sleepily typing in this stuff and having a computer system. I promise you, the only person proofreading those notes are Dr. Al-Hashimi.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's not fair to I cannot freaking believe I'm defending this woman. That's not fair.
It's just the reality.
I know it's the reality, but it's not fair that she is taking the heat for Santos to screw up. Whether Santos typed in an error or AI verbally translated something wrong, which isn't great in an emergency situation. But either way, you're supposed to be proofreading. She knows what her job is. I know she's tired. Right. This one case, I do not think it is fair.
No, I don't think it's fair either. I think you're right.
Santos
like in a perfect world,
I agree with you.
Nothing that Dr. Al said was wrong. She said that it's a better margin of error than dictation. It happens. But I think that the reason that they were using Santos specifically in this whole storyline is that what they're showing is that all of this sounds great, and you're not wrong that Santos should be responsible. But because of one of the other fucked up parts of this system is that the second-year residents are exhausted, like the way that we use them, and because of the lack of staff in the hospital, et cetera, she is literally falling asleep over there. So she should have done it.
How would it differ if she were dictating and made a mistake?
Wouldn't necessarily.
Barely falling asleep. It's not AI that messed this up. It's Santos.
No, I think that's why they're trying to show the complexity of it, of AI, period, is that it is a new tool. I appreciate, and the reason I keep harping on this is because I love that you're on board with that idea, because I agree with you, Becky. She is being unfairly villainized by a lot of people online and things like that. And that just because hopefully all of us have learned to be deeply suspicious of AI in general. But as I've already said, it definitely could, with limited ethical use, really end up being a marvelous tool in many, and already
Yes.
has.
Eventually, yeah.
But I think what I love about this storyline is that they are showing it is not easy.
It's not
None of
black.
this-
It's not black and white. There is a
Right.
gray area, and
It's
I
all
am not
gray.
defending the use of AI in emergency medicine.
No.
I don't think it's the right place, but I will defend her that this particular
not her fault.
situation was not her fault. That's
No.
all on Santos.
I agree with you, Becky, and like Santos got way let off the hook. So how, like, I can't speak completely for medicine. I only know for me, if my trainee fucks up, I get yelled at because
Right.
it's under my license. They're under my supervision. And the fact that I didn't catch that before it went off. And like, I don't know how it works in medicine. Like I have to sign off on all my trainees' notes. And so like there's a lot of like, that's why I was so hard on Santos last year, where I'm like, you have to respect the hierarchy and that's why I've been really tough on my trainees. I'm like, this is my reputation, my patience. Yeah. And so I'm with you. Like Santos got off way easy. I think when Robbie like went after Dr. Al-Hashimi, who is going to be in place and is going to be the leader of all these people, being like, hey, you fucked up. You can't have this right now. I think he was very rude to her for that. Mm-hmm. And then what should have happened, which would have happened if it was me that did this, is Dr. Al-Hashimi pulling Dr. Santos aside and being like, do you need to go home? Mm-hmm. If you are this tired.
Somebody should have had that conversation with her 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. And being like, I told you, it's 2%. The mistakes you made could have really endangered that patient.
Right.
And so yeah, Dr. Santos is like way let off the hook. Like you can't be here. Like you're not even following the rules I set up for you. So like it is sort of like this hard thing. And also I think Robbie's just being an asshole to Dr. Hashimi. And at this point, it's not really worth it. Like, I mean, she is adapting to what the Pitt wants, is being more insightful, being more open. Yeah, like she is, and I see that, and I am curious about her. Who do you fight for? Who do you not? I will say, if you have a prisoner that's brought in from jail or prison, you do need to keep them in restraints. You ladies are right. I mean, regardless of what his crime is, like I've worked with violent criminals once they've done their time and everything. I keep my door open. When we do the sessions, we go for public walks and stuff.
Yeah. It's not black and white either. Yeah.
Like keeping him in the behavioral health room is the right call. We don't know what he's in for. And to be fair, I don't know if that's much of our business. We have to assume the worst because also he is like, 600 yards from freedom?
Right.
You know, like it's unfortunate. I don't agree with how Robbie is trying to send him back to the prison. He would be malnourished. Let him go upstairs and be treated like a human and given the proper safety precautions. Yes. Don't send him back. Keep him here. He's been polite with the staff, and I liked how they showed the humanity of him.
Yeah.
Because these are still people, even if they're violent criminals, they're still people. And so protect your staff and also be humane and do your job for everyone. Don't send him back.
Right. He had a security guard in the room with him, a security guard outside of the room with him, and he's handcuffed to the bed. So I think giving him a little bit of privacy and not letting him sit there.
I know. Yeah.
I
have to kind of know. Yeah, you have to kind of know. I'm not a medical
professional, y'all. No, so take what I say with a grain of salt.
No.
I thought it was just interesting.
It is
how
hard.
Different. How almost like a role reversal, like a role swap with these two, but it's happened quite a bit so far this season, and we're only in episode 6, so I cannot wait to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, and you're right. It is hard. It is a hard thing because you want to give them all the basic humanity stuff, and at the same time, in a hospital, you can be lured into a false sense of security,
and then you put yourself at risk.
Right.
One of the things that they don't really highlight so well is that the other departments don't speak very well to each other. Just real quick, it is a hard thing, and I struggle with it all the time. It's a moving target. When I've had patients in the past, and obviously I can't go into detail, that have potential to be harmful to other staff members, I have to call the individual departments to let them know not to send a trainee. It's not going to show up in their chart. It's not going to show up in anything like that. And I do that, but I think I'm the only psychologist in my department that does that.
Yeah.
All right. So last second to last chart note. I just wanted to give a shout out to Rocky, the hot dog guy. He ate 36 hot dogs, my boy. One of the much needed moment of levity in the show was the second time the guy hurls, and the guy in the bed, when he throws up the first time, he leans forward and looks at him, but then the guy in the bed next to him is actually trying to enjoy a sandwich. And dude throws up again, and he's like, dang. And I want someone from the props department to tell me what they used to make that hot dog vomit.
Oh,
yes.
So I promised my daughter, let me rephrase that. I warned my daughter, and she was not happy about it, that I was about to tell the story. Speaking of the things, it's like they somehow know what is the biggest phobia I have or trauma that I have, and they're going to work it into a storyline. When Ava was 2 years old, my daughter, she got some kind of bug, and I didn't know she was sick yet. She was just kind of cranky or whatever. She was still at that age, but we were taking a bath together just to try to get her feeling a little bit better, and she vomited hot dogs all over me in our bath water. And Sam, this is what you have to look forward to. Not only did it happen, but I'm the mom.
Yeah.
Children really freak out when they get sick because they don't know, especially that young.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going
It's upsetting.
on. It's
Yeah.
very. I know adults who have massive phobias.
Yeah.
You cannot overreact because that will freak them out more. So not only did I get vomited hot dog all over in my tub, I had to be like, "This is fine. Everything's great."
I'm Vince Vaughn
normal.
in Four Christmases when somebody throws up. That's just
You
so
and
you
Eric.
know. Ooh, I can't.
You and Eric.
Uh-uh.
You and my husband. I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I do have a very strong stomach about stuff like that. But to this day, it is probably the most disgusting. And there are many. You're in for some really, really gross shit in the next 18 years. But that is right. That is probably number one, the most disgusting parenting moment that I had. So I'm so glad that we could relive that again.
I love hot dog guy.
Ugh. Had to be hot dogs.
All right, so last one we got here is just that gorgeous, beautiful end credit song. We have completed our interview with Gavin Brivik, and he talked a lot about this song. It was written specifically for the ending of this episode with Louis' passing. He couldn't tell us that at the time, but now
Very
we know.
excited about it. Gavin, you were right. Perfect.
Shout out to Andrew Bird and Mr. Gavin Brivik for that beautiful
Amazing.
song. I can't handle going through the words, but I think Mandy has the lyrics.
Yeah, I'm going to read them real quick because Gavin was very, very proud of the fact that they were able to find a moment to highlight this song that he collaborated on with his good friend. And he is very rightfully very, very proud of this song. And they just, again, listen to the interview. It's a great, fascinating interview. And he really talks a lot about
I don't have it posted yet, so wait
when
till I get
is.
it posted.
Yeah, don't listen to it before it's available.
Right.
Guys. Don't sneak in and try to listen to it before it's actually on an app. You will find that he talks quite a bit about this and how judiciously they try to use music because they don't want it to be overwhelming. He was not wrong. This was the perfect song for this episode. So I'd want to read the lyrics. Can you see him tired and shivering? He's stumbling through the day. Can you see his lips are quivering like he's forgotten how to pray? Can you see the way is perilous? She's absorbing all the blows. And who will take care of us now in the hills and valleys, in the highs and lows? All I know is you need someone in the by and by. You need someone who's going to cry for you. Yeah, you need someone in the by and by. You need someone who's going to cry for you. You need someone in the by and by. You need someone who's going to cry for you.
Damn it, Andrew and Gavin. Oh, it's a beautiful song, and they
Very beautiful.
have done some amazing work. And I highly recommend you guys go check out Gavin Brivik and his Spotify page where you can find this song with Andrew and work he did for last season and just everything. He's just well done, guys. It was
Very much.
perfect song. All right. So final thoughts. This is a yay for me. I wrote this down because I knew I wasn't going to get through this last part without it. I love this episode. Kudos to Noah Wiley for his directing and capturing what it's like from the nurse's point of view. It's nice to see them taking center stage, given they do a lot of what doctors can't or won't do, and that's providing patient-focused care. They are the central nervous system, and it was beautiful to see them shine in this episode. It was heartbreaking to see Louis leave us, but I love they paid tribute to him, and the end credits song had me sobbing. It apparently still does. I give this 5 4th of July themed donuts out of 5.
I loved it. I think one of the only drawbacks of having a phenomenal cast of a massive phenomenal cast of really, really great performers is that it's difficult to highlight all of them all of the time. And so I really enjoyed having this time with Perla and Princess and Donnie and Dana and Nurse Kim and all of the guy whom I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but it was just really, really a great experience to sit with them and watch them celebrate nurses and everything that nurses do, and also just enjoy some really, really fine performances. And just to bring some levity back, I am going to go with giving this episode 36 puked up hot dogs.
Oh, you took mine.
That always happens.
I was gonna say that too. It's a yay for me, 100%, and I have nothing to add. You two ladies said all the reasons why it is phenomenal for me as well. And I'm trying to think of something else from the episode.
You can do 5 Dana wrist breaks.
Ooh, I'd love that. I give it 5 Donnie tattoos out of 5.
Oh, I like that one. I was going to say 5 sub-Q stitches out of 5.
Oh, that's another good one. That's another good one. Like it.
All right. So, Mandy, you have a misdiagnosis.
Well, just the massive one of that I really thought Louis was going to make it. Again, I am not nearly as good at predicting what's going to happen on this show as I was on the Better Sister. I massively screwed. Maybe I just wanted to believe.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you were wrong on that. That could have literally could have gone either way. And I think just because Louis was such a beloved character, we didn't think they would take him away from us. So there was nothing wrong with having hope that he was still going to be with us. So I don't
agree.
I don't judge you for that one. I'll judge you for a lot, but I won't judge you for that.
You will. Way to Game of Thrones us, guys.
I know, right? Oh, Ned Stark wishes.
All right, we got quite a bit of feedback, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Via our What's On Tonight Facebook page feedback post, Alma Contreras. Hello, Alma. Good to hear from you again. She said, hello, ladies. I just wanted to let you know I am following you all now with the Pitt, but haven't had a chance to send any feedback. So here we go with episode 6. Yay. That's me saying yay. Woo, with a crying sad face emoji. What a way to start with Louis passing. I'm still crying. We are too, Alma. I really didn't expect this death hitting me so hard. It's so, so sad. The series is so good with so much going on that I really got to watch each episode a few times, and I'm ashamed to say that I still don't have everyone's names. Neither do we.
It's okay. Wikipedia. That's how I always go back.
As far as Langdon and Robbie go, I do believe Robbie is being a little harsh, but I think he's highly disappointed in his friend and himself for not seeing it sooner to help him before it got so bad. Excellent point. To where he was forced to have Langdon go into rehab. I mean, that's a real hard position to be put in from your colleague and friend. I guess I'm Team Robbie with the shrug emoji, but I do have empathy for Langdon and for him making amends. I think your thoughts line up with most of us on that. Yeah. She says, well, I've been rambling long enough. Alma, there's no such thing as rambling too long with us, as you could see. She says, I look forward to the podcast. P.S. My least favorite character is Javati. She just annoys me, and I can't figure out why. LOL with the shrug emoji. And I'm going to say something, and it's nothing against the actress. It's just something about Javati this season is almost... I don't know. She's not annoying me, but she's too daggum chipper. And more aloof this season. Like Giovanni's almost gone backwards a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I feel that way, but something is off. And I hope that they clear it up by the end of the season. It just doesn't seem right with me.
Yeah, I mean, I like her character. Just, you know, she endears me from season 1, and I agree with Alma and you, Becky. There's something off where it's giving very little sister vibes, and it's supposed to be her second year.
Yeah, it's weird.
Or her second rotation. Like, I don't know if it's the writing. It's definitely not the actress.
No, not at all.
Or the editing or something where she feels very juvenile now. And
yeah,
that's
I feel like it's pretty
strange.
organic. I think she was terrified last season. First of all, she's still only 20 years old. Last season, she was just jumping in, had no idea if she was going to be able to do this or be successful at it. Now she's had a little bit of success, and she's a 20-year-old girl.
That's a good point. I forget how young she is.
I think she needs to be taken down a peg, and I think she will. But yeah. I feel like it's a pretty organic thing. I think it's that she's not as scared as she was last semester. I keep doing that. Last season. And now she's got just enough experience to be cocky.
Just dial back the cheesy McCheese smile when you're talking to a patient about the fact that her brother is on a 72-hour mandatory psych hold.
Right.
It just
that was wild.
Part of her, it's just like when she was with, anyway.
I know, I see what you're saying.
She's riding if she's riding Mateo, I will excuse all of it.
Okay, that might be it, girl. Okay, via the Pitt fans fan page, Linda Atterbury Cabin. What a name, Linda! I love it.
It's like a book
name. Oh my goodness!
Like a literary
Cozy Mysteries.
Brilliant book name right there. Something I love it.
Linda writes cozy mysteries in her part-time. Linda Atterbury Cabin says, I was so sad about Louis. Then Dr. Robbie started talking about Louis's background, the loss of his family, and I was even sadder. A gentle reminder that everyone has a background, a family, friends, and should be treated with dignity and death with a crying emoji. Yeah, girl,
Amen,
you already heard
Linda.
Linda. We agree with you 100%.
Absolutely. Well said. Taylor Boggs, Louis, crying face emojis. Also, fuck Ogilvy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Taylor, yes.
Yeah, you spoke for all three of us there. I had to pause my TV this week because he had me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Beverly A. Cummins says, just a beautiful episode, even though it had a lot to do with compassion and death. It's almost perfect.
Well said.
It was a great piece of art. I agree, Beverly.
Yeah.
Via the Pitt fan page, Linda Morrison. She says, I found the actor that plays Louis on Instagram. He doesn't seem very active on it right now. I love that he was honored last night. It was sad to learn that he lost his wife and unborn child. I love how Dana handled the man that grabbed Emma's arm. Yeah, girl.
Mm-hmm.
She even called him a jagoff. This is another point where I think maybe I am dipping into cultural appropriation because I am 100% going to start calling people jagoffs too. And I've never even been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
that slang is about to become worldwide.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so Linda, who is a native, is going to go ahead and give us a little bit of lore. That's a Pittsburgh slang, meaning a jerk. I think they tried to use the word on the Pit before, but got it wrong. I think they gave it like the hard K sound, which is
jack off. Yeah, that's what we say here in the South.
Right. I remember riding in cars with people, and if someone cut them off, they would call them a jagoff. My father-in-law would yell it out the car window as loud as he could. Here in the South, we just use the good old bird or the F word or a combo of both. There are a few more slang words from Pittsburgh that they haven't used yet. Maybe they will in the future. There was so much more in this episode. It was a great show last night. I'll give it 5 out of 5 hot dogs.
No, I love when people get into giving it the ratings. That's awesome, Linda. And Linda, I don't have a date, time, or any of that, but I did reach out again to the gentleman who plays Louis, and he did respond that he would love to come on and do an interview with us. So again, I don't know when that's going to happen or any of that info. I'm waiting to hear back, but fingers crossed that we officially can make that happen.
I'm so excited.
Oh,
Linda,
my goodness.
I want to say, though, if you want want to go ahead and message us with some more Philly slang or Pittsburgh slang, I am really, really excited to hear that. So you go and let us know what other Pittsburgh slang you'd like to hear in a future show.
Mm-hmm. Via Instagram, Castbox2020 says, we need to talk more about self-end-of-life care, which is a difficult thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
We talked a little bit about that in this episode, this pod. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to give a shout out to Castbox 2020. That is one of my bestest friends, Amy Davis, who has been a rock star helping me with my mental health, along with so many of all of you other amazing friends. And she is getting a bird's eye view of end of life care. And so I'm glad that she's watching the show, but I'm even more glad this is only like the second time she's left us feedback. So thank you, Amy. Love you. And Mandy's mom via text, Anita says, by the way, y'all need to lighten up on Dr. Robbie. It's been going on for 6 weeks in our time. But in his time, it's only been a bad morning he's having. Fair point. Well made, Anita. If that came with a pork chop, I'd be more inclined to be accepting of it.
Yeah, and if y'all recall, I let you know that Mom will be submitting feedback only through text because she's a badass and got kicked off of Mark Zuckerberg's internet merely for posting a link to an article that was 100% factually true, but it was critical of people that Mark didn't appreciate being critical of. So,
badge of honor, Mandy's mom,
yes.
Anita. Yep. Badge of honor.
We really appreciate, guys. I know we say it every week, but we will say it every week that we come on. We appreciate the feedback everyone sent in. It makes us so happy. You just don't even know. Hearing from you guys every week and this being a collaborative thing with you all is just the best part of this show. So
it rocks our world. It literally does. Mm-hmm. And if you would like to get in touch with us, leave some feedback or just say hello, you can email or send us a voice message as an attachment to what's on tonight and the number 2 at gmail.com.
You could visit our Facebook page where there'll be a post for the next episode, and you can leave feedback in the comments section or send us a message through Facebook Messenger. We can be found on Instagram as well at What's On Tonight Podcast and the number 2.
We would greatly appreciate it if you'd leave a review, comment, like, and or share on your podcast listening app of choice.
So, ladies, how about we go grab a 4th of July themed donut? And God, a donut sounds so good right now. And talk about where else listeners can find us, podcast recommendations, good TV, movies, or anything else you want to share. Sam, you're up first.
Yep. I listen to your ladies' coverage as the main podcast.
Thank you.
I was like, well, the podcast I'm mainly listening to are you ladies. As far as TV shows, I'm one of those cheesy people who watches Love is Blind. I know. I don't know if that's a recommendation, but it's getting me out of my head. And I just recently started watching the Netflix series, which I think was first on Discovery Plus. It's a reality show called Alone, where people try to survive alone in the Alaskan wilderness. It's oddly riveting to me.
That sounds horrifying.
It is.
But in the event of an apocalypse, we know to find Sam first because she's going to have the training she needs from watching the show.
Oh yeah, I am totally a Carol from The Walking Dead. I will get stuff done.
And of course, flowers, Lizzie.
Look at the flowers. And of course, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is very entertaining right now and lighthearted. And you also see like a giant dong in the second episode. That is a little scary, speaking of horror.
No, I love a good penis.
Why did you mention that any of the times you've tried to talk me into watching it?
I know, she's been trying to talk us into watching it, but she led with a penis.
Just kidding, Mom. For me, my TV recommendation is I actually did something I don't do a lot, which is just binged a comedy, and it's so funny. It's the remake of The Burbs, the movie, the Tom Hanks movie from the 90s. They've made a TV series of it. I think it was 8 episodes. Was it, Becky? Do you remember?
It was 8, and it was so good. I binged it all day
It's so
yesterday.
cute.
Doing my
It's just-
laundry, I did it.
If you just need to get out of your head, have something that's almost completely lighthearted, but also remarkably touching. Still,
Very.
all.
Friendship.
Some
Very big on friendship. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of a massive theme of the show is just friendship and finding your tribe and being there for each other and being weirdos together. And it's really good. Kiki Palmer's hysterical. Jack Whitehall, who is this British comedian who, by the way, if you've ever seen Travels with My Father with Jack Whitehall, I highly recommend. Also very funny. And then as far as podcasts go, I really want to encourage everybody to go back and listen to all of the interviews that we have done with the amazing cast and crew with the Pitt and also some of the other shows, but mainly Pitt cast and crew. They're just all fascinating. I mean, all of these people are so amazing. The more and more we do these interviews, I am just always taken aback at how uniformly everybody loves this experience, how they all kind of say the same things about how there's no snobbery on the set, that it is such a collaborative thing, that everyone from the sound designer to the composers to the staff behind the scenes, they are all completely bought in because they're treated with dignity and respect, and they just all have really fascinating stories to tell and have led really interesting lives. So that's a treasure trove for you guys that are fans. If you haven't listened to the crew podcast, go back and listen to them.
And
they're really great.
Thank you. And the plan is, I was going to do it now, but I think I want to wait till the end of the season and once a week repost an interview.
Yeah.
So that we still have that content coming. And for those new listeners, you can very easily find them. So stay tuned for that. But you can also find them all over our social media and stuff too. For me, for podcast recommendations, Kelsey and Jen with They Did What just released their latest episode where they discuss the HBO Max documentary Surviving Ohio State. Oh my God, that's a crazy, horrible story. And they do a really good job diving into the decade-long abuse scandal that surrounded OSU. So please check them out and a lot of other great podcasts on podcastica.com. And for TV recommendations, I'm just going to say Black Rabbit on Netflix. Finished it last night.
Nice.
Really good. Really, really good.
Very nice.
And a big giant thank you to Marky Mark and the Pirate Core Entertainment Bunch for giving us this platform. Please visit the Pirate Core website. You can find it on our Facebook page, and there you can find our podcast as well as other podcasts like Dinner for Her with our very own Mandy, Panels to Pixels podcast, and A Journal in Cinema, where you will hear Sam soon with a couple of our crew talking about the Talamasca. And then you can find out about new projects that Mark is working on.
Well, that wraps up our incredibly emotional coverage of episode 6 of season 2 of The Pitt. We will be back next week to cover episode 7, hopefully crying less, titled 1 p.m. Be on the lookout for the 2 amazing interviews that we've referenced a lot in this podcast that we just had within the past week with Gavin Breivik, who is the musical composer for the show, and Charles Baker, who is currently starring in a run as the unhoused man, Mr. Digby, and who previously had a major guest starring role on Breaking Bad. Just incredibly interesting.
Beings.
Both of those guys, just really, really cool.
Very cool.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. And a quote from Nelson Mandela: "It always seems impossible until it's done. Even when life knocks you down, get up and keep going." I'm Becky.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Sam.
We'll catch you next week when we grab the remote and see what's on tonight.
Bye.